Do you have a past? Are there skeletons in your closet? I mean, the truth is we've all done things that we're ashamed of, things that we're embarrassed about, things that we feel guilty for. But one of the biggest mistakes that we can make in our life is when we allow guilt from our past to rob us of the future that God has for us. And you know why we do that? We do it because we don't get forgiveness. I don't mean that we haven't received it. I mean that we can't seem to wrap our minds around the idea that God forgives and forgets. There are so many examples of this in the Bible. I'm thinking of one. I'm thinking of that verse that describes God taking our sin and dumping it into the sea. You guys know that one? I love that verse. In fact, I want you to get a visual on it right now. I want you to imagine that as I'm speaking, God is gathering up all of my sin. That's right. Every sin that Alan Rigg has ever committed, he's rounding them all up, okay? So you should make yourselves comfortable because this could take a while. We're waiting. Wait for it. It's awkward, I know. It's my sin. Okay, he's got it. Now, he's dumping it into the Mediterranean Sea. I want you to picture the storm surge. As beaches all around the Mediterranean begin disappearing, coastal cities are filling with water as my sin sinks into the deep, dark depths of the Mediterranean in a field of bubbles and only finally hits the seafloor, sending silt in every direction that slowly settles until finally no one can see my sin. No one's going to find it. God himself isn't going to dredge it up because he promises not to. With that picture in mind, do you think there could ever come a time when I'm allowing guilt from my past, or you are allowing guilt from your past, to rob us of our future, the future that God has for us, that God might look at us and say, I'm over it, why aren't you? Have you allowed a handful of guilty memories to control your life, to define you, to tell you who you are? You know, those things you feel guilty about, they are a part of your story, but that's not the whole story. God is still writing your story. And this is one more of those things where we get to say, enough is enough. Going forward, I'm not going to live from this guilty place anymore. I'm going to live from this forgiven place instead.